Hey guys, welcome to LawnCareMadeEasy.com. I'm Zach Stroud. Today I'm going to talk to you about this weeping redbud. It's called a Ruby Falls. And some people would think it's dead because it doesn't have a lot of blooms on it. I'm going to show you some techniques that you can use to kind of check your trees to see if they're dead coming into spring. So we'll be right back and we'll talk about that. All right guys, welcome back. So this is a weeping redbud, but it doesn't have a lot of blooms on it right now, and it's just the beginning of spring for us here in South Carolina. So a lot of people would say, well, is my tree dead? Here's some techniques that you can use to kind of check and see if your tree is dead. One of the first things I'll do is see if the limbs are pliable. Okay, if the limbs are pliable like this, you can bend them and they don't break, then that's a live tree because you have fluid running through this, okay, and you can bend that. Usually if they just snap right off, then you're going to have just dead wood there. Okay, so you can go around your tree, bend these new, and these are just kind of new ones. Don't bend back here too much because this is the old wood. I'd bend the new wood in the front. You bend this back here and that will probably break. Okay, so don't bend that, but bend right here at the ends and you'll see that it's pliable, and usually that's where you'll know that it's still alive. And another technique that you can use, and I use this a lot, and I just sometimes just use my fingernail if I can. But if you take like a knife of some sort, a really sharp knife, and make sure it's clean, because if it's not clean, then you can inoculate some infection or some bacteria into there and cause an infection. Okay, so usually what I'll do, and I'll do it in an inconspicuous area, I'll just kind of take an area right here, maybe let's go towards the bottom, and just kind of put like a little notch in there and kind of peel that back, and you'll start seeing some greenness. That's a clear sign that your tree is still alive. Now if it's kind of like a pale green, then you're going to know that that tree is dying. So if you want to make just a small cut in a little area, just kind of bring back some of that bark, and you'll see that it's a bright green. So those are two little techniques I use to check and see if the tree is still alive. I've used this for years too, and it's always kind of worked out great. But usually reasons that it's not blooming, first, it may be a fairly new tree. Second, it's just not warm enough yet. And a third one is that it's dying. So the first two, if you can find where there's some flesh, green flesh in your tree, especially in the trunk area, and you have this pliable limbs on the ends, then most likely you have a live tree. Okay, but if you're finding brown out throughout it, then it's dying. So those are just some things you can kind of check on some trees if you're worried about them they're not blooming or they're not budding out yet with any leaves. Those are a couple of techniques that you can use. I hope this helps you out, and we'll see you next time.